This video is sponsored by LastPass. Apple has always made premium phones. They've kind of had a reputation as making kind of elitist phones because they're always expensive and people tend to sort of flaunt how much money they spent on phones. The legacy of OnePlus started with the OnePlus One. It was $300 when that phone first launched. And you were getting at the time what was like a flagship device with features that you couldn't even get on devices that cost 2 and even 3 times as much. And it started sort of that OnePlus vision of flagship features at a budget price. We're gonna put the newcomer in the flagship market, the OnePlus 7 Pro, up against the stalwart, the guy who's been here for a while, the iPhone XR, and it's a battle of different approaches. It's a budget manufacturer making a premium phone, and a premium manufacturer making their version of a budget phone. So OnePlus 7 Pro against the iPhone XR, and like always, we're gonna pick a winner. The OnePlus 7 Pro starts about $670. The version we're testing is a juiced up, geeked up version for about $750, which coincidentally is exactly the same price as the iPhone XR. So I've gone on record in videos in the past saying that amongst everything in a smartphone, the screen is amongst the most important to me. It's what you're looking at. I don't care about the specs inside. If the experience of actually looking at the phone is bad, then I'm not gonna enjoy using the phone. And the story of OnePlus has not been a story of amazing screens. Traditionally, it's been decent enough 1080p panels until we got to the 7 Pro. Everything about the OnePlus screen is good. If you've used a current gen Samsung phone, you know what I mean when I talk about good screens. And I've said for years and years that Samsung makes the best displays going. The screen on the OnePlus 7 Pro comes really close to that level of quality. It's AMOLED, so obviously the blacks are super black, the colors are really vibrant. It gets bright enough to be able to see it in direct sunlight. It's got good sort of off-angle visibility. And we got a 90 hertz screen. It's hard to describe or even show you over YouTube what that translates to, but things look really smooth. If you take your phone, you kind of scroll along, you might notice jitters. What you're not gonna see on the OnePlus 7 are any of those jitters. Sort of the best thing I can equate it to is, if you've ever seen a soap opera, like you're home from school sick one day and you happen to turn on channel 4 and things look kind of artificially smooth, that's what things look like on the OnePlus 7 Pro. They look really good on this screen. And that's been an area where OnePlus has been behind in the past. But they didn't just step up their game with the OnePlus 7 Pro. They stepped it up and then they jumped over it and then they jumped over that. And they probably went into Samsung's supply chain to get a screen that looks amongst the best in the business. And on the Apple side of things, when you're talking about flagship phones, the screens on the XS and the XS Max are baller, awesome screens. Screens on the XR are good screens. So we're talking about a 720p LCD screen. And it's a good 720p LCD screen. I even go as far as saying it's one of the best LCD screens you can get on a phone. But even the best amateur, when standing up against a pro, can't compete. The screen on the OnePlus 7 Pro doesn't just beat the screen on the XR, it kind of stands over it, glares down like menacingly. So before we keep going, hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. If you want to get notified when new ones are coming at you, hit the subscribe button and of course that little bell. And I want to give a big thank you to this video sponsor, LastPass. So the way LastPass works is you just got to remember one, presumably super secure password for your LastPass account, and then everything is going to be stored inside of that. So there's a lot of cool things to like about LastPass. My favorite is the auto generation of passwords. I can create like a crazy long hexadecimal password that I would never remember myself that is secure, and that password is gonna automatically auto-populate on my computer, on my phone. It'll be stored across all those devices in case I want to look it up. There are tiers also for premium and families that gives you sort of more stuff like one-to-one sharing, that emergency access. It's really not a lot of money for peace of mind, and I don't mind supporting developers that are making apps that are really useful to me, and LastPass is definitely one of those that I use every single day. In fact, we have a company LastPass account where we store all of the passwords for the things that we use here to make our videos, and it's nice to have everybody have their own access. If you want to learn more about LastPass, we'll link to them down below. And again, big thank you to LastPass for sponsoring this video. I don't carry a camera around with me anymore. My phone is generally what I'm using for every picture taking scenario that I want. And it boils down to this. We've reached kind of peak smartphone camera where everything is some version of really good. If you want the best camera out of these two phones, then I would still go with the iPhone XR. Its single sensor is going to give you incredible pictures. It's surprisingly versatile. Apple software does an amazing job. But not that far behind it is the main shooter on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and the difference is not huge, but what you get with the 7 Pro is diversity. So you're getting that ultra wide angle, which has been surprisingly useful. You're getting a 3x optical zoom, which again, don't use it all the time, nice to have. Now there might be a big difference in the quality of the sensors between that main shooter, sort of the other secondary and tertiary lenses there, but it's nice to have that flexibility. I don't use a wide angle all the time. It's nice to have it when it's there. I'm not always looking to zoom in like crazy. Nice to have it when it's there. Having that versatility on the rear is really nice, and if both these phones are on a table, I'm gonna go with the one that's gonna give me more options. I'll probably pick up the OnePlus 7 Pro for the rear shooters. The front camera though is a big story with the OnePlus 7 Pro because it's motorized, and I can't say how that motorized camera is going to age over time or years, other than hopefully it's been tested. I don't know how it's going to do in drop tests if it gets hit or you drop it while the camera is out. It comes out pretty quickly. It looks really cool now, and it's certainly a conversation starter. The quality of the sensor though and the actual pictures it takes are fine for selfies. They're not great, but they're not great on the iPhone XR either, but you are getting Face ID with the XR there. So front-facing cameras, I don't really care. I like the pop-up camera because it's new and different, but if we're gonna keep the phone for a couple years, I'd be skeptical how well that's going to age. So on the video front, they both do 4K 60, but when you play the video back, it's gonna look better every single time on the iPhone. But to credit to the OnePlus 7 Pro and Android, at least you can change the video settings directly from the camera app. So taking into account all of that, the rear sensors, the front-facing camera, if I had to pick one of these to use just for cameras, I'm gonna pick up the OnePlus 7 Pro. The video is good enough, the picture quality on the main sensor is good enough, but the versatility of those extra sensors really matter to me. So there's obviously a lot of other features that make a phone unique like a person. It's not just the way they look, it's what's inside that counts. And both these phones have a lot of sort of unique, intangible features. It kind of results in a tug of war, one going one way, one going the other. I love in-screen fingerprint readers. They still seem like magic to me, whether they're optical in the case of the OnePlus 7 or ultrasonic like you've got on Samsung's. This is a really fast in-screen fingerprint reader. In fact, I'd say it's even faster than what Samsung's got on the current gen Galaxy S10. I love it. But on the flip side, as much as I love it, the ease of use of having Face ID is something that I would prefer to have. I don't think about having to unlock my phone or where I gotta put my finger. Phone just unlocks by looking at it. That's awesome. I love Face ID. It works perfectly for me. It works perfectly in almost every situation. That is a huge selling point, and I think a reason alone to want to pick up the iPhone XR. This tug of war continues. The OnePlus 7 Pro's got a beastly 4,000 milliamp hour battery. The iPhone XR's got wireless charging. The 7 Pro's got insanely fast warp charging. The iPhone XR's got IP68 water resistance rating. I can't say which feature set is going to be important to you. There are times when I have a few minutes to charge and that really quick charging is amazing to have. But there's also times when I'm sitting at my desk and I want to put my phone on a wireless charger. I wish the phones offered everything. Neither does. This is a category where you have to sort of figure out which feature set is most unique to you. But both of these phones bring a really nice and surprisingly diverse sort of set of functions and features to their platforms. So out of all of those things, the one feature that probably surprised me most about the OnePlus 7 Pro was the aesthetics and the build quality. And not take away from what Apple's doing with the XR, but iPhones generally always feel good. Apple adheres to incredibly high standards for the look, feel, and aesthetics of their phone, and the iPhone XR is certainly no exception. That sort of history is not necessarily true with what we've seen from OnePlus in the past, but the OnePlus 7 Pro looks and feels premium from the top down. But all those aesthetics aside, for a lot of people, the decision's gonna come down to what it usually comes down to when you're cross-shopping phones: iOS or Android. And if you know that answer already, then you already know who the winner is going to be for you. This is the cheapest way to get into a brand new iPhone and get into iOS. So for a lot of people, that's a reason enough to go for the iPhone XR. If you don't have any OS allegiances and you're not sure which way you want to go, you are getting an incredible value and feature set with the OnePlus 7 Pro. You're getting incredible software, you're getting really solid camera, you're getting a beautiful screen, fast charging, and that list keeps going on and on. So for my money, and we always pick a winner in these verses, if I was going to plunk down $750 for one of these two phones, I'm ordering the OnePlus 7 Pro.